Well, you again. Can I help you?
Why the long face? Is something wrong?
You mean apart from the fact that my city no longer exists and I've lost most of my people? Sorry for being in a bad mood. I'm still alive, I should be grateful for that, but actually, I feel completely useless, and that makes me sick.
Looks like you've got lots to do, though. Even if your army doesn't have as many troops as before, they still need equipment.
Of course, and that's what's driving me crazy. I had to leave all of my equipment behind when I escaped, and there was no chance of getting it back. I can only sell the weapons the soldiers bring me. And when you think I had the best forge in Vertiel, Thormal Diamond Arms Hammer, can you believe it?
Seeing as how it means so much to you, I could get it back for you.
Really? You would be doing me the greatest of favors, and not just for me, for the entire army. I'd finally be able to work again.
Consider it done.
Well, you again. Can I help you?
Show me what you have to sell.
Alas, not much. I'm missing so much equipment, but have a look. You might find something you like. Well, you again. Can I help you?
Show me what you have to sell.
Alas. Well, well, you...
Show me what you...
Vulcan, come here. I need to talk to you about something. While you were in the city, the Deadwalkers apparently began stirring. Several scouts have disappeared without a trace. They can't just have been ambushed by chance. Someone must have given their routes to our enemies. I'm afraid we have a traitor among us. Though if that's the case, I don't understand why we haven't been attacked by the Deadwalkers yet. What's really troubling is that these disappearances pretty much correspond to your arrival here, which means that your living dead friend is the prime suspect. Even if it's just as possible that it's one of the Red Scribes, or even one of your people.
And why can't it be one of your people?
Why would he do that? And above all, why would he wait until now to betray us?
Who knows what goes on in a traitor's head? Maybe he thought that everything was played out and my presence here made him change his mind. After all, until we got here, you weren't doing much. But now things have started to move, and the outcome of the combat has become less certain.
You're extremely presumptuous. If what you say is true, this traitor actually waited to see if you were really capable of reversing the situation. Fine, for the sake of argument. Will you help us carry out this investigation? Yes or no?
I'll see what I can do. But if it turns out the traitor is one of your people, you better do what you have to.
I've taken a tour of the camp, and it's like a sieve.
Huh. What do you propose?
Well, I'd be safer with a few dozen well-placed traps. Do you think you could build them for me?
I'll take care of that as soon as I get a second. I'll leave you here.
Vulcan, I hope you've got good news.
I don't know who it is yet. If I learn anything, I'll let you know. Let's change the subject. I found a way into the city. There really is an ancient network of galleries beneath Carolthus.
Excellent. This is our chance to try to penetrate the city and take control of it.
Looking for a glorious last stand, are you? Don't get carried away. It's just a narrow passageway. You can get through it, but only a few at a time. It comes out right in the middle of the city in the open. They'll just pick your soldiers off one by one.
I see, but it's still something we can use. I'll just have to figure out how.
I'll be going now. Relmar, you got a minute?
Yes?
I brought you a few stones I found.
Thank you. I'm sure it doesn't seem all that important to you, but all the elven people are in your debt.
Let's change the subject. I built your traps. I still need to make a few more. I'll be bringing them soon. I'll leave you here. Relmar, you got a minute?
Yes?
I built your traps. Okay, here are your traps. Now you just need to put them in place.
Thank you. I must admit that I'm relieved it was you who built them. I'd been living in fear of messing up my hairstyle permanently had I tried to do it.
I'll leave you here.
Mercenary, can you give me a hand again? You've been invaluable up to now. There was a library in the city. Could you take a look to see if there are any books left on the object you brought back for me from the temple?
Can't you be a bit more specific? I can't go looking through all the books on the off chance I get lucky and find the exact info you need.
Maybe I could go with you. I've always dreamed of looking through all the books of the renowned Caroltath library.
Well, let's see. Going into the city isn't really something you do for your health, you know. I can't take the risk. We'll have to find another solution. I need to ask you something. We found a strange object in a ruined temple. It's a sphere, probably magic.
Is it gray? Does it give off heat? Perhaps it vibrates slightly when you hold it in your hand?
Yeah, that's it. What does it do? Do you know what it is?
You imagine it's a coincidence that I described it so precisely? And you would be correct. However, based on this information, I'm able to deduce that it is a tear of the world heart. Alas, I have no idea what they're for. Have you thought of trying looking in books?
Well, there's a library in the city. I suppose I could...
Excellent notion. Look for a book about relics. The book called Living Lava is reputed to contain a great many rare facts about these sort of objects. If you plan to use the tear for something other than a paperweight, I suggest that you find that book and study it.
Who are you exactly?
I am Mathras, immortal and unique.
Right. So why aren't you out there hanging out with your Deadwalker friends?
First of all, I don't have any pals. I'm a little too old for that. Secondly, I find your implication that I am associated with them most unpleasant. I have nothing in common with those dead things. I've been around for over 6,000 years, and I'm still very much alive, thank you. I admit this body is looking a little worn.
6,000 years old. Hey, you don't look a day over 250.
You flatterer. I did, however, lose a toe this morning. Nonetheless, these dead walkers are simply corpses as they're animated by magic. Whereas I am an immortal spirit who changes bodies when they wear out. There's absolutely no similarity.
But that's awful. You steal bodies?
Alas, voluntary donations are hard to come by. If you hear of any, do let me know. I'm on the lookout. But if it reassures your delicate sensibilities, I generally choose dead bodies.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Why did you come to Carol Pass?
Why not? There's one thing you should know about eternity. It can be rather dull. So I do my very best to be in the right place at the right time. The place where it's the most fun.
Fun. You think this is fun?
Well, distracting then, if you prefer. What do you expect? I'm just so bored. The End of the World is a show I wouldn't want to miss.
What do you know about the Dead Walkers?
Apart from the fact that they're an incongruous mass of corpses with appalling bad taste that are animated through the use of magic, nothing. I can tell you that the power necessary for their creation, and to keep them working, is far beyond the magical abilities of any of your contemporaries. And since it's obvious they are incapable of any decision-making or strategy, they are clearly being controlled from a distance. All of which suggests the Ice Lords who are controlling these things are rather powerful. Something, I grant you, quite difficult to believe when one saw them start out at the same pitiful level of incompetence as their brothers, the Red Scribes.
In 6,000 years, have you ever seen a situation as desperate as this one?
Honestly? Well, no. You are, as you might put it, fucked. Or at least the mortals seem to be. But you carry something within you that may modify things somewhat. And it is this seemingly insignificant detail, this flap of a butterfly's wing, which may eventually change the apparently manifest destiny of the world as you know it. This demon, as you call it, has never before walked the earth. Neither he, neither it, nor any other of its kind. If they had, I would know of it, believe me. Consequently, and in spite of the evident futility of such a sentiment, there may be grounds for you to feel a slight glimmer of hope. That is, of course, if it is your desire to avert disaster.
Well, that's comforting. What happened to the Elven King?
I think he was simply lacking in strength of will and determination. They transformed him into an arch-lich. It's a particularly delicate and extremely dangerous magical process that could only be performed by an Ice Lord. It can only be performed on an elf, and then only one who is desperate to live.
How so?
Elves have many flaws, but most of them do have a very profound sense of duty. If an elf believes he is going to be tortured to make him reveal the secrets of his people, for example, he can literally will himself to die. It would seem that this king was desperate to continue living at any price, rather than dying with honor. That is what allowed them to turn him into an arch-lich.
Do you have any idea about what I am becoming?
In all my long lives, I've never seen your like. Even the term demon seems to be designed to cause confusion. I have seen real demons when I lived as a war drum player amongst the dwarves.
Dwarves are just legend. You're yanking my chain.
It would be churlish to mock someone when it is so easy. Thus the dwarves did exist, and I was once one of them. They used to use these little creatures, barely the size of toddlers, in their enormous forges. They were little red creatures with tiny horns and a wicked air about them. You see, they were able to survive in the flames. The dwarves called them demons. You look a little like one of them, only much bigger. And you have an even more pronounced affinity with fire. I'm reserving judgment about the wicked attitude. I believe this affinity with flames is no coincidence. You are clearly a response, a weapon, and your purpose is to face the Ice Lords. It is entirely possible that you are the fruit of an attempt to rebalance the forces of nature. Alas, I have no idea which entity is behind all of this.
Talk to you later. What can you tell me about Mathras?
He is a most unusual being. Do you realize he has been alive for over 6,000 years?
Don't you get the impression that he's just talking bullshit?
Even though at first sight, such a long existence sounds impossible, he has knowledge of history that makes it very difficult for us to doubt his word. And his appearance speaks for itself, if I may be so bold.
It's true that he does look a bit ripe.
As far as I understand it, he regularly changes his bodies. As soon as the one he's taken starts wearing out, he procures a new frame? What is really fascinating is that he is the kind of undead that was previously unheard of. We had no idea there was a being able to transfer their soul from one body to another in order to keep living. Remember that his knowledge could very well turn our vision of mortality upside down. And of course he might provide unhoped-for help against the lords of the frozen shadows.
What did I tell you? Once they've recovered from the shock of my somewhat shriveled appearance, everybody thinks I'm highly useful.
He could really help us out. If we could only be sure he wasn't working for the enemy.
You insult me yet again. Joining forces with a band of apprentice sorcerers with a thirst for power would be unworthy of my condition. And didn't I already tell you how to enter the city?
Some basic information that got you into our camp. That seems pretty clever to me.
Really? What would be in it for me? Not that the company of these scribes is unpleasant, but I doubt that our simple little discussions will affect the course of the war.
I can confirm that he hasn't ever been alone. But you look a bit preoccupied with something. Am I right?
The commander says there's a traitor in the camp, and our new friend is obviously a prime suspect. What if he can read minds?
Well, I think that the commander is wrong. We've spoken for a long time with Mathras, and I don't believe for a second that he's got anything to do with your problem. It's obviously very difficult to detect telepathic communication, but as far as I can see, there's nothing to indicate he's capable of it.
Very well. I'll just have to trust you. Let's talk about something else. Do you have a moment? I wanted to ask you a few things. What do you know about Carolthas?
It's a very ancient city, far more ancient than it appears. The elves are master preservers of architecture. They shrink from destroying, preferring to construct new strata on top. You can find traces of Carolthas in works that are over 1,000 years old. Some buildings, like the Royal Palace, are of unequaled complexity. But the city also incorporates more primitive districts. And there must be underground areas as a result of all these piles.
What happened here?
As far as I understand it, the Elfin army was caught unaware by powerful magic that buried them under ice in an instant.
They didn't stand a chance.
And how could they? Such magic requires the presence of a very powerful sorcerer, someone on the order of an Ice Lord. They rarely take to the battlefield, but when they do, all hope is lost. Rumor here has it that it was the work of Blackfrost.
Who is this Blackfrost?
Don't tell me that you don't know the name.
Don't take me for an idiot. I know what he is, but that doesn't really help much, does it?
He's one of the Seven. He's known for his craftiness, his guile. He prefers using magic rather than his armies. In the past, he used to be more discreet. But for 2 years now, he's been leading the Deadwalkers' assaults, and is regularly seen in the front lines.
What changed?
I don't know. The Ice Lord's alliance is a delicate balance. It is possible that this is the result of an internal power struggle. He has certain abilities that make him fit for the role. Blackfrost is without a doubt very effective. Just look at the destruction around us.
Let's change the subject. Later.
About the world heart.
If you can find a book called Living Lava, I'm interested.
Living lava?
A book about the tears of the world heart. Mathra suggested I should look for that.
You have tickled my curiosity. Carry anymore. I need to keep my hands free in case we have to fight.
that you? Help us get out of here!
Head to the southeast. You'll find an entry in the support pillar. Take that passage, and then look for an opening in the cliff face. The rest of the company is hidden there.
Got it. There's another camp of prisoners over there in the west. Not any of our guys, but maybe we should try to free them anyhow. Do you want us to give you a hand?
No. Get out of here.
See you back at the camp. Good luck.
Gonna need it. Go to the support pillar in the southeast of the city. You'll come out near the cliff. Follow it and you'll come to a rift. Go in. The elf army is there and they'll take care of you.
Thank you. See you back at the camp.
That's right.